So I just finished Core 3 of Thousand-Year Blood War, and holy is this a game changer. And I've been responding to all of your comments, so I know that you guys are really excited for Core 3, and I want you guys to know that this part will be covering episode 1 through 7, and then the next part will be covering episode 8 through 14. And now I don't want to waste any of you guys' time, so I only have one more thing to say, and that is that out of everyone who's been watching my videos, only 1.7% of you guys have been subscribing, so please subscribe. I'm desperate. So the first 9 minutes of the first episode wasn't anything important. It was just a recap of what happened in Core 2. But after 9 minutes, which is kind of ironic, but we'll get to that in a second, it was revealed that he was actually fighting with his eyes closed this whole time. So Yuha obviously teleports back up and says hi to Ichibe. And then Hauswald explains, His Majesty, was to regain his strength after 9 years, and if he were to use it beforehand, it would just not be controllable. But now that 9 years have passed, his eyes are now open, and he's a beast. Then Hauswald continues to glaze Yuha, but then he also reveals the name of his ability, which is the Almighty, where he gets to see all foreseeable futures, and any ability that he knows is coming can't damage him, which is the most broken shit I've ever heard. He was so strong he was able to overwhelm Squad Zero's Bankai, but hey, Ichibe's a beast, so he's probably got it, right? Well, he spends half of the time singing. Then Ichibe goes for the kill. Okay, at least Senjomaru should be able to finish off Uryu with this Bankai, right? Nope, bitch, we swapped.
Nice.
Yes, Uryu has the ability of Antithesis, where basically he can swap circumstances with his enemies, which is OP as fuck. Anyways, Ichigo says Ichibe's name, which ended up reviving him. Yeah, makes total sense. After this, we get to see Yuha making a staircase out of reishi to make it up to the royal palace. Upon arrival, he is greeted by his father, also known as the Soul King, who's essentially been turned into a frozen vegetable. Yuha sees this humiliation ritual and decides to put a stop to it. And if you're wondering how, well, let's just say... Well, that's one way to say hi to your father after 1,000 years. But before the episode ends though, we get to see Shinsui meeting up with my boy Aizen. Anyways, the next episode starts off with a flashback of the Soul King and Yuha before the 3 worlds were actually created. Although this flashback doesn't last too long, as we get right back into the original story where we see Ichigo and the gang pulling up on Yuha. Oh, and Ganju's there too. As you guys know, Yuha can see all foreseeable futures, meaning he was simply waiting for them. So Ichigo, being a crash out, instantly starts swinging. And let me tell you, the animation on this fight was actually perfect. But let's be honest, Ichigo stood no chance. He was getting f***ed up this whole fight. But Ichigo can't really give up, so he just keeps going. But it's so obvious that nothing Ichigo does is gonna work. Like, Yuha's just completely out of this guy's league. But you know, Ichigo's not getting affected by his shots, and like, you know, he's getting a few shots back in. And it seems like he's doing some damage. He's putting in some work. And you know, Ichigo's standing up tall, getting some confidence, talking to shit. You know what I mean? But then Yuha hits him with the... I ain't even trying, my eyes are closed. He activates the Almighty, and then I guess we can guess what happens from here. Yuhaba and Ichigo go at it again, but this time it's not even close. Ichigo's getting completely bitched. He then grabs him by the face like an older brother before he proceeds to say, please don't tell mom. He continues the disrespect by launching Ichigo back into the royal palace, and he comes out the other side where Orihime and everyone are standing. And can you even get more disrespectful than this? He was beating this dude's ass in front of all the hoes. So Ichigo's on the ground tasting the floor. Then Kisuke gets asked, if the Quincy's truly hate Soul Reapers, how come they didn't kill every last one of them before going up to the palace? But Yuha's the one who actually explains this to Ichigo. He basically goes that I know you saw the Soul King's power. He can see all 3 realms. He saw everything that happened in the past 1,000 years. He saw the massacre that happened to the Quincy's, and he chose to do nothing. And that's why he's gonna take the power of the Soul King, and he's gonna create a new world. Although at this point he already knows he can't win, he still gets up to fight. He lunges at Yuha while Orihime is already healing him from the back. Pause. Then it cuts over to Ichibe, and he essentially apologizes to all humans and says that they have no chance at beating Yuha. But he also claims that that's what peace is all about. Bro, I had a feeling this guy was a piece of shit, and this is just confirming all of it. Now back upstairs, everyone's still getting their ass kicked by Yuha, but then we get the reveal and Yuha's like, haha bitch, I already killed him, you guys are too late. And at this point, everyone's shitting themselves, but then Ichigo has a bright idea. Yeah, he takes out the sword. Like, who the fuck does that? He's acting like taking out the sword's gonna make the wound go away. And to make things 10 times worse, Ichigo's Quincy side takes over and cuts down the Soul King on his own. Yep, that's what happened. Yuha then thanks Ichigo as it's explained that the only way to kill the Soul King is to be a part of every single race. If you guys didn't know, the Soul King is what was holding the three worlds together. So now that he's gone, we see the tremors across all three worlds, the Soul Society, the world of the living, and Hueco Mundo. And then to rub salt in the wound, we get to see Yuha talking shit to Ichigo right afterwards. Now in the next episode, my boy Ukitake coming in clutch, we get a backstory where it's explained that his sickness has been with him since he was born, and that the only reason why he was saved was because of the Soul King's arm. We also get to see his and Shinsui's friendship in the academy days, and then we also get this final conversation between him and Unohana where he basically says that I will be visiting you soon in the afterlife, meaning he already knows his time's up. Since Mimihagi was able to give Ukitake another chance at life, it also gives him the ability to stand in as the Soul King until eventually he loses his life. So Ukitake was able to stand in as the Soul King to buy time for Ichigo to defeat Yuha. But as I said, this is a double-edged sword, which means he becomes one with Mimihagi and he loses all of his organs. So at this point, he's dead. Ukitake's final words were a quote saying that there are two types of fights in this world. There's fights to protect one's life and there's fights to protect one's honor. We then see Shunsui taking these words to heart as he's saying that he wants to talk to Aizen. This shows that Shunsui is putting all of his pride and everything aside to save lives by recruiting Aizen as he's needed in this war. We then see upstairs that Ichigo and Yuha are still fighting, but more importantly we see Ukitake slash the Soul King's arm making it all the way up to the Soul King's palace and taking its place. Yuha was shocked on why he wasn't able to see this with Almighty, but then it was explained that Almighty doesn't actually work on the Soul King itself. We then see Shunsui and Aizen chopping it up, and Shunsui asks him if he wants to leave this place as they have common goals. It's also revealed that the final key to Aizen's locks are actually inside of Shinsui's body, since it was an order from Central 46. And then we get dumbass number 1. He tried to restrain Aizen and then got his fingers chopped off. He then tells us that the restraints only make his spiritual pressure stay near him, it doesn't actually suppress it. We then see Aizen talking about the Soul Society, calling it corrupt, saying how it's about to come to an end, and that's where it segues into the next episode. This episode starts off with Yuha trying to get rid of Mimihagi, Ukitake, or whatever you want to call him, and then Ichigo hits us with the classic "Now I'm mad." Yeah, I promise I'm never gonna do that again. So yeah, Ichigo is able to power through his Quincy blood holding him back, and now he's back in the fight. Then we also get to see Yoriichi doing her part until she ended up getting backshots from Uryu. Backshots. That's my job, if it ain't the nerd himself. Wait, we still have more with Yoriichi. She has some more tricks up her sleeve. Never mind, another Stern Ritter takes her out. And bro, we're still not done with the Yoriichi disrespect. After this, Yuhaba hits her with the Kamehameha, so Yuha gets back to business and Ichigo tries to stop him, but Uryu intervenes, and it's about time they both square up. So they're both throwing hands, but Ichigo is just trying to convince Uryu to stop fighting and come back to the right side. And this is one of my favorite fights. The animation is just so perfect on these. Uryu uses Leaf Reagan on Ichigo, but come on, nobody expects Ichigo to lose this fight. He's obviously stronger. Uryu's still at it, and he finally hits Ichigo with an arrow, and I think this is where Uryu realized that Ichigo actually has Quincy blood, because you see his Quincy blood actually showing itself, and you see the horror on Uryu's face. And this is also where we see Uryu letting his guard down, and this is where he gets bitched by Ichigo. Never mind, because Ichigo is just trying to convince him to come back to the right side once again. Uryu replies, "Fuck you, bitch." And then he enters crash out mode. But how serious could the situation be? It's Uryu. Uryu uses his new ability, which is just like the Senbon Zakura Kageyoshi. Then we also get to see Hoshvalt viewing the fight, which makes me believe that he still doesn't trust Uryu. So Uryu starts crashing out on Ichigo, but it can't be that serious. Like, come on, Ichigo's still gonna win, right? Come on, Ichigo's still gonna win, right? Come on, Ichigo's still gonna win, right? Well, I guess not. Ichigo loses and falls from the Soul King Palace. The episode ends off with Yuha collecting the Stern Ritter's energy, turning it into a sword, breaking out the Soul King, and then absorbing him. Because of this, a bunch of these little black things start falling from the Soul Shield membrane, and these things were about to attack everyone until they weren't. Yup, you guessed it. Aizen is back, and he's already talking his shit. He's saying how you shouldn't be using a sword when you could literally use your spiritual pressure to crush these things. Hey Rukia, you're a lieutenant now? Guess they be making anyone lieutenant these days, huh?
Hey head captain, why the fuck is this dude here? And I'm confused if he's trying to fuck or he's hated.
Nah, I'm playing, but all the captains and lieutenants were upset that they have to fight alongside Aizen. And Shinsui's like, listen, we're gonna fucking die if he doesn't fight with us. So shut the fuck up and fight. And then we get the infamous scene finally animated known as Hado number 90. And it's crazy that he was able to do all of this while being strapped in a chair and with no incantations. Like, Aizen's just on a different level. Isuke says that he's even gotten stronger while he was locked up. And don't worry, Aizen has one more highlight reel. He tries to shoot down the royal palace while being locked in a chair. Like, I mean, talk about Black Air Force energy, bro. I heard a story that people actually passed out while watching this scene, but I'm not sure how true it is, but it is literally amazing. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to do it, probably because of the chair and Miuri's device. And right after this, Miuri pulls up. He talked about the device, and then Aizen's like, put that thing on max and let's see what's stronger, my spiritual pressure or your device. Never mind, some guy that looks like Tosin if he was homeless pulls up and knocks out Aizen. He's then killed by Baz B, and then their side of the team requests a truce with the Soul Reapers because they want to take down Yuha as well since they got abandoned. We then see all of the surviving Soul Reapers coming together and giving their soul energy so that the main cast can actually make it to the Soul Palace. We then see Ichigo waking up, and we see how Orihime has been the one healing everyone while he was asleep. We also get to see that Kon is the reason why Ichigo survived the fall. And then in the end of the episode, we get to see Yoruichi opening a portal, and then guess who pops out? Grimmjow. I mean, it's about time. He was teased in like Core 1 and he finally shows up, and I think everyone's hyped. Like, nobody can really complain about Grimmjow. Like, he's the guy. So Grimmjow just arrived and he's already ready to scrap with Ichigo because we already know what type of timing he's on. But unfortunately, that fight was cut short by Nell. I'm not even gonna say anything about like the appearance because I'm not trying to go to prison. Alongside them, we also got the Fullbringers back in the picture, but these guys aren't really there for fighting. They're only here for basically an Uber since their techniques are good for getting back to the Soul King Palace. Ichigo's obviously confused because he doesn't know about any of this because he wasn't in Hueco Mundo with everyone else. Meanwhile, downstairs, all of the Serete struggling to get enough soul energy until Miuri brings out the soul energy accelerator. We also get to see Yuhaba's new form, and even his own henchmen are like, what the fuck is this? Besides Hoshwalt, of course, because he's just a D1 Yuha Glazer since day one, bro. We then get another cut back to Ichigo and his crew. We also get to see that the portal is now finished, and then they arrive at the... what? Turns out Yuha's so powerful that he's taking control of all of the Reishi on the Soul King Palace and turned it into the Wandenreich. Oh, I'm not scared, you are. I mean, just look at this infrastructure. I mean, Yuha should have just been an architect. Anyways, we get to see Yoruichi's brother, and he's just a total wimp. We also see Yuha and... yeah, I don't even know what to say. He just looks like a f***ing filth bag. Like, why does he look like that? The Soul King didn't look like that. And just like that, everyone's off, ready to fight. Same is said for Ichigo's team, but Grimmjow stays back because he doesn't want to go with them. I don't really know. And then we see this. Turns out Miuri made another portal only for himself. Wait, never mind. Kenpachi came too. You want to know why? He was taking a shit. Fashion Dude, Baldi, and Hinataro. Hinataro is here too. We see Grimmjow chasing Askin. We also see the low-level Soul Reapers getting sniped off. But the main attraction for this episode was Renji versus Uryu. And by the way, this is an anime exclusive and I'm hyped for it. The animation was perfect, but let's be honest, I think all of us knew who was gonna win as soon as we heard Renji versus Uryu. But we see him clashing, you know, and it just like animation was top tier. And then we see Renji going into Bankai and they go right back to scrapping. Like, look at this clash right here. Like, you can tell that the animators put in work. And Renji was actually winning. Like, you see this giant explosion and you think Uryu's dead, right? Nope, he's not. He then enters crash out mode just like he did against Ichigo. We then see Hoshwalt still observing Uryu, which makes me believe that he still doesn't trust him. And then I have a feeling that Uryu might come to the right side, man. You never know. And Uryu ends up losing again, but since he's a Quincy, he starts absorbing Reishi like he's a fat dude absorbing calories. I have no clue where I was going with that analogy. Anyways, Uryu respawns and he looks like he just went Super Saiyan Blue. And he traps Renji in a box, and well, let's just say it doesn't go well for him. Uryu gets ready to finish off Renji, and you see Renji squeezing out the last bit of Bankai he has left. Uryu gets ready to shoot, and well, that's all she wrote. Uryu then talks to Renji. He says there's 3 reasons why he lost this fight. 2 of them were just gassing himself up, but one of them was actually so true, and it was that he didn't fight with the intent to kill. And bro, the Renji disrespect is just crazy. Like, come on, Kubo. Like, I feel like he just doesn't like Renji. Hey, you reached the end of the video, so if you guys like this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, like, do whatever you gotta do to hype me up, you know what I mean? And I'll be back with another video really soon with part 2 of Core 3. Write peek in the comments if you made it to the end so I know who's there, as well as some video suggestions if you want some more content. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.